don't say depression, anxiety, and stress aren't real at whatever age.
Hey everybody, Victor here, 1% Pro, and today I am with
Carolina.
Carolina. Tell me, why the people is in the gym? Why you are here?
Why am I at the gym? That's a great question. I'm here because I want to be strong. I want to be big. I want to do lat spreads. But also, I just found myself needing to do something. I needed a hobby. In high school, I was in marching band. So I really liked doing that. I liked moving. I actually hate sweating, so I'm not going to say I liked sweating, but I liked moving. I liked having to do. I liked moving my body. I found it easy to get into the gym, and it's been harder being consistent coming to the gym, but now that am in a different phase of my life, I've definitely grown more consistent. I'm here because I like to move my body.
So you like the gym to take care about your body, but you are performing any discipline?
So I like to powerlift. It's just at first I was really into power building, which was it's like a mix of powerlifting and bodybuilding. The movements that I did would start off with my like the traditional squat, bench, deadlift, right, in the beginning. And then the other 3 exercises out of the 4 would end up being like a hypertrophy movement, focusing on just really growing that muscle, whether it be, RDLs until failure, right? Or what are they called? Lat pulls, right? But right now I'm really into not bodybuilding, into powerlifting. I like the training style. I like the importance on strength rather than like the physical. Just because I'm not a skinny person. I've always been rather like wide. My shoulders are wide. Like I'm very like rectangular, right? And I think that my body just really enjoys having that muscle on it. Like I feel happy as well. Just power lifting.
Let me ask you something. What do you think about insecurities?
I definitely, I think everybody has them. And if you say you don't, good for you. That takes a lot of mental strength. And just like also a mental strength as well. I definitely think that insecurities, while they could be a negative thing, they could also very much be a source of fuel. I come into the gym and I'm like, damn, I don't like X about my body, right? And the good thing is that I know that the way I work out now and the way I take care of my body, or I'm starting to take care more of my body, is to combat that, right? I definitely think that it could go both ways if you're not mentally and emotionally mature, right? And what I mean by that is if you let your insecurities rule the way you interact with yourself, with others, with the things around you, you're not gonna have a good time. Like you're just not. Like it's gonna ruin you. But I also think that those insecurities, if you're mentally and emotionally strong, I think those insecurities can be, like I said, a source of fuel. They can become something like almost like a goal, right? Like I'm gonna overcome this, right? I'm gonna come to terms with this.
And what you are doing for living?
What do I do for my like work? So I work at a high school, and I do tutoring for right now, but I applied to a grad school program. So I'm gonna go back to school for my master's degree in teaching. Yeah, in summer.
You are so young, and I'm really surprised you are so educated. Do you like books?
I love books. I love, 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 love books.
What's your favorite?
My favorite. I love Love in the Time of Cholera. It's written by Gabriel Marquez Garcia. He's a Colombian writer who was known for the magical realism movement in, I think he's Colombian, in Colombia. Yeah, you see magical realism in like Latino America, especially when he was like writing.
I like to hear this guy Jim Brown, and this is back on the time, and he used to say, "We are a lot of people in this country, and just 1% has a library card."
That pains me. I'm an advocate of libraries. I love libraries.
What do you think libraries they are not attractive?
Yeah. I think it's a lot of things. One thing could be maybe libraries are outdated. I especially during, I don't know if you can get political right now, but especially during like Trump's presidency, right? There was that like narrative where he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna cut funding for libraries," right? So a lot of places are generally underfunded, right? We already don't get very much funding for our libraries, especially our public libraries. So I definitely think that's one thing that keeps like libraries being unattractive, right? They just don't look cute. They're not aesthetically pleasing, right? Not welcoming. I also think that it could also be transportation, right? Where are these libraries? How easy is it to get to these libraries? Third, everybody's on technology nowadays. They're connected via their phones, their laptops, right? Their tablets. So how do you get like the new wave of library card holders to come in the doors, right? Maybe you don't. Maybe you get them coming in through the metaphorical door by saying, "Hey, you can actually check out library books on your phone," right? So I would say technology or the lack thereof. And then I think I also said like transportation, but I didn't go into it. But transportation, right? Where are these libraries located? How easy is it for people to get there? And do we have enough like resources for it as well? Like, I don't know. I think a lot of things. Like a lot of things.
So you are in tutoring. You have any common questions?
Yeah. Just regarding anything. So like I tutor multiple subjects. So what do you mean?
It's because you are working with young people. My question is, do you notice they prefer all of them they read, or do you think it's because you know what happened? And don't get me wrong, obviously here in the gym, it's really weird to see someone reading a book, but all the people they want glutes. So, good glutes or nice book?
I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to decide, like pick. Like there are things that can exist together, not separately, but together. But in regards to the question that I get the most, especially because I work with students who are new to the country, right, or have very limited experience speaking English, the most common question I get is, "Mrs. is correct." And I know that's not like philosophical, right, or even theoretical, but it is a reflection of how these students go about living their lives, right? And even just like in the academic sense and also like at home and even just interpersonal. It's always like, is this right? Right? Instead of practicing or focusing on the, am I learning anything? So yeah, I think the most, the question that I get asked the most is definitely, is this right?
Your generation, I'm sorry to say in that way, I'm thinking you are so smart. You have all the tools, but the basic stuff sometimes is kind of complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. So I remember I had mentioned this when you said, "Oh, like common knowledge or common sense," right? common sense isn't that common. And I say it again because it's true, right? You're right. Not a lot of people, not a lot of, yeah, people my age know how to do maybe the basic things, right? And by basic, if I'm hearing you correctly, it's just like how to take care of ourselves, right? Um, yeah, I don't want to generalize, but yeah, I can see why that's a question, and I can see why people say that, especially because we're so connected to technology, right? We grew up in the age of technology. We grew up in, hey, like, you can get this, you can share this and you feel happy, right? So that instant gratification, right? I think that is what has led a lot of us to fall short on how we take care of ourselves, right? Well, which is kind of sad because it doesn't work that way, right? Taking care of yourself doesn't work from one day to another, right? So yeah, I definitely think that, sometimes we do lack that ability because of instant gratification, because we think, oh, well, it's just easier to do this one thing than to be consistent.
And I don't know if you're familiar with this word, normalization.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. PJs, they are not,
PJs at the gym?
nor to be wearing all day.
No.
Just
Unless you're having one of those days where, you just have to be like, like sad, then that's fine. But I agree. Yeah, me, sometimes I do walk out with sweats, okay? But I'm not going to be walking out with PJs. Like, no. No.
my point about this little thing, and I hope to get a lot of comments
Yeah.
about this, is because that word normalization, we are normalizing, or how I
Normalizing?
we are normalizing things they have not to be normalizing. And let me
Okay.
put you an example. Human,
Mhm.
if you sleep from, let's say, 10 p.m.
Mhm.
until 8 a.m.,
Mhm.
you are going to wear comfortable clothes. But what happens when you get out from your home and you still with your PJs?
Yeah.
Your body and you
Yeah.
even are thinking, okay, I'm still in resting mode.
Okay, yeah.
Now you get me.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I mean, are you recording this? Is this part of it? Okay, yeah. Because I wasn't sure. But, yeah, so I think that's very interesting just because, yeah, I also agree. And my mom, growing up, always told me, like, arreglate, like, get yourself ready. Like, why are you just, why are you dressed in your PJs still, right? But I was also at home, and I was just like, I don't care, I'm not seeing anybody, right? But as soon as she says, hey, Carolina, like, we need to go to the store, I'm not going to go out in my PJs. Unless it's, like, really, really early in the morning and I feel, like, dead inside, I will. And that's, like, once in a blue moon. But other than that, okay, let me just throw on some jeans, a T-shirt, and a sweater. Like, let me just, you know what, we're going now, right? Because it's true. I think that, and I'm going to get political again, but I think that as like a brown person, and more specifically as like a woman of color, right, I don't get granted that grace where I can just walk out in my PJs and pantuflas or like and my slippers and or in slides and then just be like, I'm here. I can't, because people are gonna look at me and they're gonna be like, oh my god, she looks like so sloppy, right? But then you like and this is something I experienced, right? Especially at school, because I went to a school where there were a lot of white men. They'd show up, PJs, flip flops, like dirty t-shirt, hair all over the place, right? And they just sat and they like acted like they owned the place, right? And people still took them seriously, right? Professors were still like, oh my god, that's so thoughtful, that's so insightful, right? But again, as somebody who looks like this, as somebody who carries themselves a type of way, I'm not granted that grace, right? So I definitely agree that when it comes to normalizing what we wear, in particular PJs, right? Or just like an unkept look, I think that it's normalized, and that sometimes I think that it's a way of like pushing back towards like, oh, well, I always have to look ready, like, you know, it's pushing back against that. But I think that it could be dangerous to normalize that. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's like, I feel like if I say like one too extreme thing, it's not exactly like in the middle. I think a good like middle.
Moderation.
Yeah, moderation. There you go. That's the word. Like, I think everything in moderation. Yeah, because I don't know. I believe in the gray area of things, because not everything is black and white. Not everything, unfortunately. Which, and that's the thing. Like, I'm very much a person that goes yes or no, right? But I'm trying to unlearn that, because that could often do more damage than good, right? We have to let some people, like, some people live in that gray area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the idea is, I think, is place and time for that.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
it's something just like now is PJs everywhere and every time. How they are going to realize they have to be active, you know? It's because my point of view is when you are in that kind of situation, resting mode, you don't feel with energy.
I see that. I see that. Yeah. I think that also has a lot to do with like, no, yeah, I totally agree. Again, moderation, everything in moderation. But yeah, I see it. Yeah, I get it.
What do you think about nutrition and exercise?
I think, you know, a lot of people say like nutrition is like, I'm not sure if I'm going to quote this correctly, so I'm just going to paraphrase it. But a lot of people are like, oh, nutrition, or that thing about abs. Abs aren't made in the gym, they're made in the kitchen, right? A lot of people say that. And I definitely agree. I don't have abs, nor do I want abs. But I think nutrition plays a really big part in just your overall well-being. And also I think that nutrition becomes the foundation to how you exercise. If you eat really good one day, you can exercise a little bit harder the next, right? If you eat like crap the one day, you're not going to exercise that well the next day, right? So I definitely think that nutrition and exercise go hand in hand.
Thank you, Carolina, to help me with this. And I'm going to give you 3 complicated words: stress, depression, and anxiety. New generation, they are dealing with this. Any advice in the good way for this kind of situations?
Yeah, I think grounding yourself can be very helpful. I'm someone who often gets really stressed out when I have like a lot of things on my plate. So yeah, I find that maybe just even grounding yourself in a calendar, a journal, a book, read, can help. And also, if you know grounding yourself is too hard, go to the gym, throw stuff around. I find that coming to the gym also helps with that, right? It gives me time to just be by myself. Yeah, be by myself, listen to music or listen to a book. I'm also into audiobooks. So listen to a book, you know, say hi to some people. Yeah. So I think grounding yourself, spending time by yourself could help.
Something a little bit more complicated. For the parents, any advice for them?
Parents. Oh, I'm not a parent. But
No, but you're a daughter.
yeah, I am a daughter and I teach kids. Yeah. Ooh.
It's
Read.
because you know what happened. No, you know what happened. I'm 100% sure our community, we are Latinos, Hispano-Americans, they are spending most of the time working. and they don't know how their kids they feel. And probably coming from a daughter, any word?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't say depression, anxiety, and stress aren't real at whatever age. Yeah, you're right. I think that parents, there's often that disconnect, right? A person can become a parent, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, my kid doesn't have issues, right? Or, oh, you have food on your table. What are you crying about? But it's things that, it's just growing pains. I think that understanding that your daughter, son, stepdaughter, stepson has to live in this shitty world. Sorry, it is. And there's no escape to it. I think that just realizing that and being there for them, I think that's like the best thing a parent could do.
More communication?
More communication. Yeah. Ask them how you feel. Ask them how they feel. Ask them who they're playing with if they're like little kids, right? Because then you get to know a different side of your child.
I think in this situation we can use the common sense.
Common sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the kid or the girl doesn't show like in a good way something is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Just having a conversation.
Okay, until the next time, thank you so much for this. We're going to see you again.
Thank you. I'm sweating.